我摸到那个信封很厚，我就知道是这些东西了。金银纸我就丢掉。
金银纸
啊，金银纸这样一叠寄给我。
There was this particular article 带回家剩下的食物给他家人吃。But this was the first time I saw like she felt like 委屈。
我记得一心小时候，中学的时候，他很怕我们去学校啊。
Me just focusing and like wanting to fit in, think it kind of translated the wrong way into them thinking like I was ashamed of them.
一些东西都不是以前我想的那个画面，所以我就觉得错过了。
Hi everyone, welcome to DNA, a show where I hang out with celebrity parents and their kids to talk about family, growing up, and what actually happens at home when the cameras aren't rolling. I'm Rebecca Lim, and today we have with us someone I really love, admire, and respect, and I'm sure the entire Singapore does as well. We have with us 向云姐，
你好，大家好，
谢谢你抽空上我们的节目。
谢谢你的邀请。
And of course, her beautiful and very versatile daughter, Yixin. Thanks for coming.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's been a while since we hung out together, and I've heard from the production team that it's actually harder to book your dates compared to 向云姐.
No way.
Yes, way.
It's just been the holidays, you know.
To where?
To Europe, you know, exploring the world. You know, you're only young once. Yeah, but I'm back to be in touch with you guys again. I've missed you guys so much, and I'm so happy to see you. And I'm so happy to see my mom.
I always find the dynamic between the both of you very interesting because Yixin is very English speaking, but 向云姐，你有曾经说过，相比华语，你的英语并不是那么的。
我不行，我是嫁给之才之后，我的 mother-in-law say I cannot speak 华语，然后我就要学英语。
没有办法。
他很谦虚，其实他懂的。People call it weaponized incompetence.
我不懂他在讲什么。
Way of her saying, "Oh, I don't know anything."
我不懂他在讲什么，你在讲什么？
他讲你很厉害，
但是
你是世上最好的妈妈了。
真的，
对
谢谢你。
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, correct.
So 你们在家里是怎么沟通的？
I guess you can say we are like a Singaporean family.
Yeah.
It's really Singlish. You really mix it. We really have come up with our own language.
OK， 很有趣了，因为我记得
对
一心的成长，他小时候呢，他小孩子讲的英语很容易嘛，我只要跟他讲，我用我很差的华语英语跟他讲，他也可以。但是慢慢我就觉得不行了，因为华语很重要哦，然后他的华文程度又好像在景象那边这样哎，然后他的华文老师说，一心的华语要讲好一点，要不然人家知道你是他妈妈怎么办？然后我心想是哎，他的华语怎么可以讲得不好呢？
就有点压力了。
对，然后我就有点逼他。
所以他最近也是有很多那种 Gen Z 的 lingo，
Yeah.
你听得懂吗？
不懂。
然后
我最近学了一个 6-7还是 7-8啊，这是什么意思啊？粗话啊？是粗话吗？不是，
是，不可以
乱讲的。
It's not 粗话妈妈。
And we know that 向云姐 as Yixin was growing up, you never wanted her to enter this entertainment industry, right? But did you used to bring her to work when she was much younger?
因为那时候我们拍冰箱广告，他们就找她来拍，没有想到她要讲冰箱里可以种菜吗？记得吗？这句台词。
那个时候你几岁
4岁耶。
不懂。
没有牙齿的啦，没有牙齿的，2只牙齿是空的。所以其实他从小就跟着我们到片场，他对片场有一定认识，因为我们家里就是我们自己住，我们把他们丢在家，我们有时候觉得可以把他们带身边，我们也想把他带身边。
My earliest recollection would probably be like the advertisement that my mom mentioned previously. I do remember like I really enjoy just like being behind the scenes and like because they're free flow of snacks and my parents are very strict with my diet. But then when they are busy, it's free reign.
那向云姐，我觉得除了你觉得这份工作很累之外，我相信当年你跟之才大哥也是承受很多外界的压力。
是。
那当时你会不会担心，你的孩子还小，他们会怎么去？
其实当我跟之才要决定结婚81年，然后我们就报纸就写了，就很多新闻。那我们第一次知道媒体的力量很大的，因为那个年代的观众是很单纯的，他们只会写信给我们了，以前我们收信是一大叠的嘞，真的是好像可以这样丢着飞这样来的， 呀，以前是收信的年代啊。但是我跟志才结婚的时候，有人会写信放那些死人的讣告，把我照片放去，因为他们不要我跟志才结婚，所以我就常常收到。那个时候，那是我第一次遇到这样的一种这样的一种观众会这么恨我的，
对，
我当然心里面很难过。后来我就慢慢接受，我摸到那个信封很厚，我就知道是这些东西了。金银纸我就丢掉，我也不要看。
金银纸
啊，金银纸这样一叠寄给我。但是我相信那个人心里面一定很不快乐。我总是觉得你会做出一些对人有这样 negative 的行为的人，这个人肯定是很不快乐，很不快乐。所以我就慢慢的就习惯了不了了之，然后。慢慢就没有，但是后来到了另外一个阶段，另外一个 era of 我们的媒体有所谓的 internet，就是所有东西都在平台上的时候，这个时候就不是只有我看到了，我也知道我的孩子如果看到的时候，他也需要跟我一样，内心要很坚强。
所以从小时候你就慢慢的训练他，
我就告诉他这些东西不要理他们。
As a kid, it was hard to kind of understand that it's just part and parcel of it. I think I really regretted the way I handled the news. It was more so of a lot of frustration. Frustration comes from assumptions that people make that I can't kind of clear it out for them. I think one that really was quite upsetting to me was there was this particular article. They talked about how my mom brought home like 带回家剩下的食物给他家人吃。
我记得那个，因为那件事情呢，我开始的时候也是很生气，因为那个时候我们有时候如果说overtime， 他们会打包饭盒，如果有的话，我看1、2次，就是剩下有时候1、2包都丢在那边，我就带走了。
因为觉得浪费嘛。
对呀，对呀，而且我家里的背景是穷苦的，
对，
所以我们也不会浪费食物，只是他的那种写法，可能我爸爸也会受伤，所以人家会以为。我们拍戏吃剩的菜饭还是什么，就算是我觉得没有错嘞。
对啊。I think 当时 the reason why it gave me such a lasting impression was because I mean I've seen my parents react to articles. It's always been maybe a bit more like anger, but this was the first time I saw like she felt like 委屈, felt like she let her family down in that way, and I felt so frustrated because I was just like maybe 11, 12. And I don't know how to tell my mom, like, what? I don't, like, so
yeah,
what?
So what, yeah. And now as a parent, I kind of feel heartened hearing this part of the story because I would imagine as a kid, you know, going to school and if you hear gossips about your parents, you know, I would assume a kid would feel embarrassed.
I mean, like, we were all kids, right? And people are always going to be curious. And of course, it comes with the territory, having being born with such privilege. I think as a kid, it was hard for me to kind of process those emotions of why people can just talk or ask or feel entitled about how my mom is doing or like what I should tell them. I think as a kid, I wasn't able to determine where and how their intentions and where their intentions came from. But as a kid, I just wanted to fit in.
Does it happen in school? Like
Of
teachers
course.
treating you nicer because
I
of who
wouldn't
your
say
parents
nicer,
are?
but definitely different.
Like how so?
It differs with every teacher. Some teachers would try to make it a point to make it very fair and clear. Some teachers are a bit more like gentler with me. Some teachers are a bit more curious about me. So it's a different treatment with everyone, but the generic experience that I've had is definitely different. Me just focusing and like wanting to fit in was my main priority. And I think like, especially with the people closest to me, like my parents, I think it kind of translated the wrong way into them thinking like I was ashamed of them.
I see. 你会不会这样觉得？
我记得一心小时候，中学的时候，他很怕我们去学校啊，很
No,
远远
no.
啊，远远
But to clarify, I never like, to clarify, I never felt ashamed of having them as my parents. I was just very stressed out whenever I see them because it just emphasizes the difference that I have with my fellow peers. And then when I tell them like don't come, it's translated as shame to them. Like they think I'm embarrassed of them because I don't want them to be there. I don't want them to be seen with me.
我跟志才也看得出他们的忧虑，我可以感觉到孩子在学校的压力啊。做一个艺人的家长，孩子们因为这些都是同学，他们家的父母亲讲的话，这些小朋友也会来讲给他听，听到什么也讲。那么老师当然，我觉得老师是扮演着很重要的角色了。因为我所知，我很多艺人同事的孩子在学校都遇到同样的事情，多数都遇到霸凌。但是我们坐下来分享的时候，我们都会觉得难过。为什么我们的孩子在学校要遇到这样的待遇？我觉得这有点难过。但是我也知道，霸凌这种事件不只是艺人啊，因为在现在的学校生活里面，很多学校都有这些孩子被霸凌的事件。
对，但那个时候不是一个 it's not a widely discussed topic, you know, bullying.
yeah.
Were you ever bullied in school because of who your parents are?
I think for me, I experienced a lot of ostracism, but I also need to acknowledge that there are a lot of the times it's probably something that I have pressured myself into thinking. Like I withdrew myself away from a lot of people because I felt like they know more about me than I know about them. I mean, my parents would know, like growing up, I did not like going to school.
我知道他会哭回来，常常哭。我跟志才我们没有办法帮他，我们有尝试去学校找老师谈，老师说这是孩子们的事情，我们管不了。但是同学跟同学之间怎么样相处？我做爸爸妈妈，我们总不能去学校骂别人家的孩子，或者去问为什么你要这样子。我们只能够每次跟他鼓励说，哎，不要紧，不要紧，明天你不要，他如果这样子，你就不要理他。
Okay, but I feel that actually it's harder for 向元姐 and 志才大哥 to actually go to school and talk to parents, teachers, or students about this whole situation because there's also an image to uphold, right? You cannot go to school and, hey, your daughter bully my daughter, you know?
我觉得真的不可以这样做了。
对
As a parents 也不可以，真的不可以这样做，因为
但是如果你不是艺人的话，
我会去 find out 为什么咯，因为什么我孩子每次回来在哭呢？能够告诉我为什么吗？我们很急了，我们真的很急。
I think what I was trying to touch on is the subject of children's mental health. I think like I got to experience it because I had to feel very nuanced and complex emotions at a young age. For example, like how I manage people talking about my family, how I manage people not liking me. I would say like my friends who know me, like I'm a people pleaser, but when I was a kid, I was like people pleaser times 1,000. And I didn't know how to set boundaries. And I think that's why it led to me constantly crying because I just felt so frustrated. And as a kid, like having to experience very heavy emotions, I didn't know that I had depression. I didn't know I had anxiety. I'm not throwing these terms out loosely either. And I'm also not trying to use this as a way to bait attention. I just think that it's important to talk about kids' mental health because people always misunderstand children's mental health as, oh, like, how does a kid have depression? Like, you're not even fully developed
no,
yet.
you don't even know the definition of depression.
But that's precisely why,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
because like that's why they feel
Correct.
the way they feel like 100 times more than how you're feeling. This is a really nice conversation to have, to like talk about it and like to also let my mom know that it's like not your fault and like there was no way you could have controlled it.
Yeah, but even with so much negativity, you know, growing up in this environment, it still didn't deter you from entering this industry. Why?
I know, me too. I
Yeah,
wonder
why?
why. Oh my god. I never thought that I had the capability to be here right now and having conversations like that. But I think it was really helpful that I entered a polytechnic because it allowed me to have space from friends, but also have freedom to make choices to the conversations you want to have with different people. So I did psychology and then applied drama, and then I met a lot of people that I realized shared the same interests as me and kind of accepted me for who I am, and then slowly I kind of crawled out of my shell.
So you didn't have to convince your parents to eventually allow you to enter full-time into this entertainment industry? Or was there a lot of convincing to be done?
I think it was really, okay, I must really give credit to my manager, Auntie Kelly.
For brainwashing them.
No, because she worked with my mom before. So,
Yes.
so there's always been that level of communication and trust that they've always had. And at the beginning, when I first entered poly was like when I was 17. it was when all the other celebrities kids are gonna have a show, and then everyone's Chinese is so good. I was like, oh my god, and everyone is like so like refined. And I was like, oh my god, like what happened? Like what went wrong with me? Like why am I like chapalang? I don't know. It's just like so different, and I was like, you know what? I'm not fit for this. Like I can't do this.
是我们人生中最精彩的阶段，需要珍惜它，还有拥有它。
你不在，我一个人一定会很 boring 的。
So I just like walked away from it for a while, and then I was really lucky to be given this opportunity. Just try this audition, like if you don't get it, then don't get
And
it. If
see
I
how
get
it
it, I get it.
goes.
Yeah, correct.
No pressure.
Correct. And
What
then
show was that?
It was Mr. Midnight.
Ah, yes.
Yes, but it was like a 5-round audition. And I remember telling Andy, like, what show is this? Like, why do they need us to go through so many rounds? Because they didn't share what production it was gonna be. They only shared like snippets of the storyline. Then one thing led to another. Okay, you talk more.
This is exactly what we want. To reveal secrets of the spirit world.
No one is going to talk to a bunch of teenagers about the creepy stuff they've seen.
A mysterious stranger, someone that will make people listen.
其实他真的是自己去摸索的，
真的。
尤其是他拍 Mr. Midnight 在Indonesia 5到半年，5个月到6个月，很担心，因为 COVID 我们不可以去见他，他又不可以带 assistant， 没有什么人都没有，他就是一个人在那边，一个人住一间 chalet。我那时候很担心他，那东西又送不过去，因为 check 得很厉害，也没有传过去的。我跟着才跑去 East Coast Park 海边，看着对面，一心可能就在对面。
Oh my god, actually that's true. Like when I was in the
So cute.
was on set, like I see Marina Bay Sands from afar. I was like, oh my god, I'm so homesick.
那时候10多岁嘞，10几哈
，Mama, I really
17
wasn't that
岁
young 了
18
20岁了
有没有啦？没有20岁，那时候
I
你
was
还很小，
20岁 already.
还
Oh
没
my
有，还
god.
没有。
Yes,
哈
yes. 20岁. Oh my god. Yeah. I also like want to say that it really has been my mom that has really set a really high expectation of how I present myself at work. She's a career woman, but she also holds herself to extremely high standards. She did not have it easy at all, and she never says it because her Asian upbringing is, oh my god, I'm paiseh. So like she really did come from a really humble background where she's the eldest sister of 5 siblings.
全部5个。
对，然后what's her Chinese? And then so she of course had to step up being the breadwinner, and she never thought that she was going to be an actress. She kind of chanced upon it, right? Because she was damn slay. She was like so pretty, and her Chinese was so good.
张
And
一
then
姐，
she
你
was
知道
like,
slay 是什么意思吗？
不懂。
okay, so anyway, she got in, and then she was like, poof, like okay. Anyways, no. Long story short, one thing that I think she struggled the most, and not a lot of people acknowledged, was when she decided to be a mother. When she got married, of course, she got most of the burn. When she got pregnant, she was referred to being a voice actress because back then being seen as someone thicker or curvier is not as appealing as someone who is young and available. And the fact that she still came back and got pregnant again,
Yep.
like wow. But also like the fact that she came back, bounced back in her career, like everything, the people, and she's always emphasized to be grateful to the unren around me, the people that
she is, yeah.
lent her a helping hand. And I think that's something that I also hold very closely and something I practice as much as I can, because that is who she has become, and clearly like she's very well loved. Like hearing it from you as well
is.
makes
I
me
love her
feel
so much,
like
you know,
yeah, and it's
yeah.
very nice because now that I fully meet like the people in the industry, like when they tell me and reach out to me and say, oh my god, like I love your mother out there, like she's so kind, she's so gentle. I'm like but
你看着都会淡的。
but it makes you really proud that like she's like a really good example to
没有，
follow.
因为人家对我很好，真的我很感恩哎。当我走过人生的低谷，演艺事业的低谷，你就会发现，不是每个人应该对你好的。所以那些对你好的人，你真的要很感谢，尤其是在你很低的时候，他们愿意扶你一把，给你一个机会，所以你就觉得，哎，其实我在我生命里面，我也应该对着我身边每一个人都一样。 当我有 take 到别人的好的东西，我们也要给别人好，就是大家帮来帮去。不过你很幸运呢，你说我很睡，你爸爸就把你 balance up， 对不对？因为爸爸什么都可以耶，
哦，
我什么都不可以，爸爸什么都可以。
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
所以你是黑脸。
我是黑脸。
Yeah.
哦，他是他第一个纹身的时候。
是
呀。
哇，
你的
我跟
反应是
我是
什么
难过的要死。OK， 其实，在10多年前，我的
Really
sister in
stirring
law
the pot.
Sorry.
sister in law 就tattoo 回来，我的家公1个月很难过，他说不会加崩，我不会吃饭。我就很不能理解嘞，我就说哎呀，年轻人啊，不要紧的，爷爷。后来他的第一个出现的时候，连我一直找机会讲他，哎，他一直避开我嘞。后来我就想到个办法，不然我自己也去弄一个纹身啊。
我想象不到。
我就可以跟他有共同的话题了。那后来我看到不止1个啊，2个、3个、4个，到第7个的时候，我已经有点很生气，跟他坦白讲了。我说啊，我跟你讲啊，
哇，
你一定不要啊。
你忍到第7个，
对
你才讲出来。
对，因为我已经哇
I
很
have
辛苦
my
了。
own refutal, okay, guys?
Okay, yes,
I'm just
let's
letting her
listen
have the
to your
mic
mom
first.
first.
等一下
Yeah.
你再解释给我听。我记得最好笑是一次，我在片场跟一个女同事在聊天，她就谈起一心的 tattoo， 我就说，哇，是跟你讲啊，我不懂为什么这样讲。一回头哦，有几个 CA 全部身上跟她一模一样的，很多 stem 的。然后我们2个人看来看去，哦，可能现在是流行这样。我真的从那时候我就接受了。
I mean, to be fair, I hear where she's coming from. Okay, and also, I mean, 你看到我妈妈，你会觉得哦，她是一个很端正的一个 just very prim and proper. But she's also actually she can be negotiated with. So I did tell her, I did ask for permission.
Oh, you did.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've wanted it since I was 16.
对。
And then she was like, okay, fine. Like once you reach 21 years old, you can get your first tattoo.
Oh.
So I got my first tattoo. And then the rest, she didn't ask me to give any, like ask for any
她真的
permission.
是27岁就
so
来
it
那
just
个嘞。
happened naturally. And like it's crazy because I always tell her like this is old. Like this is old. Then she like imagines that it's something new and sometimes it's also new, like I take it to my advantage.
但是他跟我有一次，他的表情真的感动到我。他说：“妈妈，我真的觉得我很开心嘞。”他的那个表情是，他有这个 tattoo， 他觉得他很快乐，他觉得他拥有这个东西，好像我拥有一粒钻石的感觉。
而且他挺听你的话的，
他会
他等到21岁的
真的嘞
时候，哎。
他一生日后，他就真的去做这件事情。
Nice save, nice save.
Yes. What would you say is your happiest childhood memory with your mother?
Ooh, with my mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
有没有？
Like I said, growing up, she was really the fierce one. I think like my dad and my mom like took turns. Like my dad was very strict with my brother. My mom was very strict with me because she has very high expectations of herself as a woman.
我对他真的很严啊，所以我们有一段时间关系很紧张，因为他开始忙了，然后很多东西我不懂，因为我们没有谈话，我们几乎都是我就早出晚归，他也早出晚归，或者他出国工作，我们就一直没有办法一直在交谈中了解彼此在干嘛。我一见到他，我一定很急着，哎，你我就是直截了当去讲那件事情。后来我自己检讨，哎，为什么我不要好好去理解，然后用一个比较好的方式来跟他谈？然后后来我就慢慢的，我就想通了，我就说，哎。不行，我要放手，因为我已经把大方向告诉他了，人生的方向我们从小就告诉他，我们不能够说你要这只手，右手要先走出去，右脚要出，然后就左脚，这个方法已经行不通了，在这个年代。
Back to your question, any happy memories? Of course, we have happy memories. Like, we didn't answer, so people might think we really don't have any happy memories. We have a lot.
Yeah.
Show heart now. Show heart. Show heart. Show heart. Right.
呀，
Yeah, like, correct. Then happy memories. I think there's no particular one.
Yeah.
It's more of, I think me and my mom, we bond over a lot of like food. We love food a lot as compared to my dad and my brother. Like they see food as more of like sustenance, but we see food as more like, hey, like let's go all out. And I think there was one where my mom and I, we went on a girls trip to Xi'an or something like that. It was nice to see like all sides to my mom because she was also at work. So then like she still wants to like, you know, make this trip fun for me. Like, hey, maybe like try this and that and this and that. It's like, oh my god. And then like I got to see like the childish sides to her, like, like can I sleep in more? Like, why is she the one wanting to sleep in more than me? Yeah, so it was really nice to see like candid moments, and I think that was one of a really nice memory.
我其实很期待跟一心去旅行的，这是我的梦想。我以前年轻啊，他们孩子还小，尤其是一心，他是最小，小哥哥9岁。 那么我很没有时间陪她，我拍很多长寿剧，我就跟我自己讲，我要等这个女儿长大之后，我要跟她像姐妹一样一起去玩，去世界各地。那现在她这么忙，我很怕我没有这个机会，因为我已经老了，你懂吗
给2026就是要
Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
？Yes， 我真的是有遗憾，我是一个职业妈妈，我很期待我像很多妈妈，像你妈妈这样，会在家里持家、煮饭、照顾家人。但是现在我想通，我打算要这么做。但是我的孩子长大，他们没有时间吃我煮的饭。我想要在家里好好做一餐饭，然后给他们回来吃，让他们记得，我回家吃我妈妈煮的什么什么菜是我们最爱的。他很好，他也给我面子。
哥哥also.
呀，但是他们很好，他们知道有时候我很想这样做，他们就会 request 我做 macaroni 就跟 macaroni，他们很可爱。我一说我做，他们就全部跑回来了，就在家里等，所以我就很开心咯。我想要孩子们知道家里的灯火饭香味的那种思念。我希望他成为孩子们到他们老的时候还会想像我一样，以前我妈妈做的 steam pork 很好吃。我也希望我的孩子能够有这样的回忆。
As her child, I can't look at her. As her daughter, like, I hope she knows that however your mom treated and what you wanted to pass, 你以前你想要从婆婆让我看的一些东西，其实我也要让你知道我以后也要对我女儿像你所教我的东西，我要传给她。我也希望我也可以做像你一样的妈妈。I don't know how to say in Chinese.
所以虽然向云姐没有做到你梦想中以为妈妈需要扮演的一个角色，但从你的女儿的，
我今天知道，谢谢你，你让我安心，真的，谢谢你，谢谢。
因为你一直以来都有那个遗憾。
我真的是我常常在很多报道或者有时候我写一些文字，我会觉得很遗憾这一块，一些东西都不是以前我想的那个画面，所以我就觉得错过了，没有办法。
妈妈，你明白我讲英文的时候 ，right? Okay.
谢谢你。
Now I think like you need to know that I can relate to the feeling of like, oh, it has really passed. But I also hope you know that I also feel the same way as your daughter. It's like 5 years ago, why was I so like unreasonable with you? Then 我自己也错过了那一段时候，为什么不可以 be more understanding towards you? Why did I say the things I used to say? Then we can have a deal, okay? 我们就有一个 deal, right? 你不要有什么遗憾，然后我自己也不要有什么遗憾。Right， 所以你可以 forgive 我的 tattoo 这些啦，然后我也 forgive 你一些东西，我等一下跟你讲。对呀
OK，
现在艺兴已经是不大也算不小了，你最担心、最放不下的是什么？
我很担心他有恋爱脑的。
怎么说？来，
因为他谈起恋爱了，他就疯掉了。幸好
像你吗？
我年轻真的也是恋爱脑，真的很不行，做工，所以他现在很清醒，很开心 ，very good。
Yay! So other than the 恋爱脑 that you take after your mom, what else do you think you're most similar with?
My mom has always said this, and I think I have come to a stage where I kind of agree, where she thinks I will be a much more stricter mom than she'll ever be. I think after being a mischievous child, I now know the little tricks up my sleeves, and I'll be even more careful on my own children. It's not gonna be as simple as this one. They're gonna be like, I want Popo. Yeah. I'll make you look like a good guy, don't worry. Then you can cook all your macaroni for them.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I know that DNA represents different things to different people. Maybe you can take some time to discuss what does DNA represent to the both of you.
Maybe a good takeaway from this conversation I have that really aligns with DNA is D for do it now, N for now or never, A for always.
其实我觉得母女本身就是像是一条线上面的，他们是同个性别，他们会明白彼此，所以我觉得这个 DNA 是一样的。
And I see so much similarities in the both of you. and yet you're both such distinctively different people, but so wonderful, so beautiful, and two women that I really, really love.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being on the show.
谢谢。
Thank you so
谢谢
much.
Rebecca.
Thank you. I really learned so much. And thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
And comment down below on your own personal relationship with your mom.
Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye-bye.